This segment is sponsored by National Museum of the Pacific War. Welcome back to Road Trippin' Fredericksburg Holiday Edition. Immerse yourself in history, from a vast collection of artifacts to the personal stories of real people who lived and died during World War II. The National Museum of the Pacific War teaches about the past to impact the present and inspire the future.
So our museum, the National Museum of the Pacific War, is located here in Fredericksburg, Texas. Why so far away from the Pacific Ocean? Visitors ask that all the time. Well, this is the hometown of Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz. He was a significant leader during World War II in the Pacific, and that's why the museum is here in Fredericksburg. So the mission of the National Museum of the Pacific War is to help connect people to the stories of the war. And we work every day, our entire staff does, to make meaningful connections, to help visitors understand the history of the war and why those lessons that we might learn are still relevant today. As you come to the museum, what you can expect to see is a whole array of artifacts and exhibits. One of the key artifacts that we have here is the HA-19. It's a midget submarine that the Japanese actually used in the initial attack on Pearl Harbor. Among the many, many very personal items that are presented in the museum, we have what we call the POW flag. What it is a flag made by literal POWs, men held in a camp by the Japanese. Of all of our artifacts, that is the one that touches most of our hearts. So in addition to the very large artifacts that we have here in the museum, we have thousands of small, meaningful, personal items that have been donated to us by family members of those who served. We have an education program that's exceptional. Every Saturday we have a very special program we call Outposts. It's a slice of life into what troops would have experienced firsthand. We have costume staff who are presenting themselves as if they were right there in the moment during the war. We also are so pleased to reintroduce Pride in the Pacific. These are our living history programs. You might drop in, you'll see a flamethrower or stories about artillery. You'll see the Higgins boat in action. It was one of our troop transport devices. You'll see so much here when you come by on Saturdays. We really hope to welcome you here soon. Please check our online schedule, our calendar of events at pacificwarmuseum.org. We look forward to seeing you then.
Well, as you can see, the National Museum of the Pacific War is educational, engaging, and entertaining for all generations. Keena Stiles and Reagan Grau are here with me this morning to share more about the family-friendly events at the museum. Good morning to you both. Thanks for having me.
Good morning.
Howdy. Thank you for
I
having
say
us.
having me because we're in Fredericksburg visiting you today, and we love that. This is one of the best times of the year to visit, but really the museum offers programming all year long, including the annual Pearl Harbor programming that's coming up, which is very special.
Absolutely. We're very excited to welcome everybody back to the museum for an in-person program. But for the first time ever, we are adding educational components. So we will present the history of the attack on Pearl Harbor, and then we will also talk about the aftermath. And we will accompany it with photos and videos, archives, oral histories to really immerse you in the history. And it will be at 11:55, which is the time the first bomb hit in Pearl Harbor. And we will do about 30 minutes of a program, and it will occur in the Admiral Nimitz Ballroom.
Very cool. It's going to be great for people to get a good perspective of that very important and history-making event, and I love the way that you make that interactive and educational for everyone. Family-friendly is really a great way to put that at the museum. In fact, right now, Reagan, you have a children's exhibit that's under construction that I think the entire family is going to love.
We've got a new children's gallery, the title of which is Growing Up with War, Childhood on the Home Front. And within that gallery, it's about 800 square feet, and it's going to be located inside the George H.W. Bush Gallery. And within that gallery, we've got three venues, if you will. One of them is set on a cotton farm in Texas.
Wow.
One of them is set in a neighborhood in South Chicago. And the other is set in an internment camp for Japanese Americans at Heart Mountain, Wyoming. And within each of the settings, there's plenty of hands-on interactives and digital interactives. And the idea is to immerse visitors into that setting to give them a sense of what it was like to be a child on the home front in the United States during World War II.
Goodness. That is fascinating, and what a very cool perspective, and you know, a great opportunity for kids to learn a little bit more about this really important event. Very, very neat that that's happening. When did you say that was going to be available?
That's going to open in February, so make plans to come back during spring break.
Yeah, you've got a lot of reasons, including an updated Pacific War battle reenactment program, right, Keena?
Absolutely. Speaking of spring break, we're going to be debuting our first Pacific Valor. We will have 8 battle programs this year in 2023. 4 of them will be Pacific Valor, which was previously Pride in the Pacific. But this time we're going to highlight actual heroes in the Pacific Theater.
Oh, wow.
And the Medal of Honor recipients will be reenacted on the battlefield. And I can't tell you quite who they are yet because we don't want to give away
No
too
spoilers,
much.
yeah.
No spoilers, but the conduct that earned them that award was in Okinawa and Iwo Jima.
Oh, wow, very cool.
Yeah, and the other 4 battle programs are going to be called campaign briefings. And this is a deep dive into actual campaigns in the Pacific Theater. And we will tell you all the history of that campaign and then follow it up with a short battle program.
That is great. We look forward to those. And your outpost programs have been a huge hit, and we can expect more of those.
Absolutely. We're going to have 22 of them in 2023. This year we had 8 topics. Next year we're going to have 12. And the new topics include CBs, war correspondence, which you might like.
Yeah.
We will also have Hurry Up and Wait, which is going to explore that time between the battles. And then finally we're going to really dive into the life of a Japanese soldier.
Oh, that is incredible. The mission of the museum to keep these stories being told and bring history to life is so important, and you all really have a lot of reasons to come out to visit the National Museum of the Pacific War. We're going to put some information on the screen right now about how you can plan your trip. You've got that children's exhibit to look forward to, the new Pacific Valor programs, the outpost programs, so much to celebrate and learn about at the museum. Thank you both for joining me this morning.
Thank
You're welcome.
you. We're
Thank
so
y'all for
happy to be
having
here.
us.
Thanks so much. And there's still so much more to come on Road Trip in Fredericksburg Holiday Edition. Since 1984, they have been the sole U.S. manufacturer of this unique European-style liquid center chocolate filled with liquors, liqueurs, wines, coffees, even fruit nectars. Need we say more? We're going to do some taste testing after the break.